Hi, good evening, gentlemen, and I should suppose include the ladies as well. Hey, okay, another part to this HMV 1804. Didn't quite a fair bit to it now. I'll show you underneath first. You'll see that there's quite a lot of the capacitors replaced. Now, what I normally would do in an instance like this, I don't restuff. I have reasons for not restuffing, so I usually leave them the way they are. Sometimes, if I'm asked to, what I'll do is I'll give them a wee coat of black gloss paint to hide them up a bit, or a different colour. Now, the reason why I leave them the way they are until I've finished is so I'm convinced and happy that everything's working, the values are correct, not that etc, etc. You can make mistakes, so until I've tested the set and the set is working okay to my satisfaction, it's only then that if these capacitors want to be disguised by a different colour, I'll go ahead and do that. Now, you'll notice there's a capacitor line here. It's very odd. This is the first smoothing capacitor, and this has looks like a modification. There's differences between the VT50 manual and this set. There's an extra resistor in here that appears to be across a choke. It's very, very low resistance, but it's only about 0.7 of an ohm. But there is this resistor, which is obviously damping resistor across a choke, and there's a capacitor that came from here back down to the smoother. Well, that's virtually earth anyway. It's only 20 ohms above earth, so it's on the earthy side of the first smooth, the reservoir capacitor, and here is the aforementioned capacitor that I've removed, a 1 microfarad. It's obviously rated about 500 volts, and it was shorted, so that was right across the HT line. So we've got 2.22 microfarad 250 volt working there with a couple of balancing resistors in it as well, so that's been put in there. I don't have a suitably big 1 microfarad non-electrolytic to put in there as well. So everything's coming along fine. Most of the rubber wiring is not too bad underneath, fortunately. There's a couple of bits here. This capacitor I've replaced, the wiring there was bad, so I've redone that. This is okay. This has been separated. I don't think there's any need for that to be redone. I might do it, I'll see, but that's okay. Now, also, I have discovered over the past couple of years that there's a stuff that people are putting underneath their cars these days. It's made by different companies. It's lanolin based, but what I did notice, that when you put it on rubber wiring that's getting a bit brittle, it softens it, and it seems to stop the wire from breaking up, and it does tend to get absorbed into that wire and makes it much softer. Now, I've done that. I've been all over it, like here on the looms and that. The looms are okay, but I've done this and it's done a nice job. It actually soaks in. This stuff is an insulator anyway. They say it's okay up to 70 kV. Well, what's that supposed to mean? They don't talk about the thickness, the dielectric strength of it or anything like that, but they just say it's an insulator, which I have proved it is an insulator. So I'm quite happy with using that on the rubber wiring. There is bits of this wiring that will have to be done. I can't get away with just doing that, but there are certain parts, especially the wire from the receiver chassis up to the scan coils, which is needing to be done. I'll just turn it round here a moment. I will give you a couple of views there. I don't know how well you're going to see. It's a heavy brute. I don't want to trap anything obviously underneath. I think there's something trapped under here, whatever it might be. No, everything seems to be fine. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. I don't know if you can see on the camera here. I'll take out the rectifier. These capacitors here have been replaced. Now, what we can do with these, instead of using the single capacitors, which are 16 microfarads, we can use 16 16s. 16 16s will 500 volts will fit fine in a small can. Here's the box of stuff that's been replaced so far. I mean, there's a single 16 at 450 peak working voltage, 550 volt surge. No, they're all that. Now, these capacitors are rated at 500 volts running, and usually between 50 and 100 volts surge. Although it doesn't say that, but they're quite quite happy with between that. Now, one of the things that I don't like about any of these old sets is they come with a directly heated rectifier valve. I'd rather it had an indirectly heated rectifier like a GZ34 or a GZ32, which may be the case for this afterwards. We'll see. So that's just my own feelings. Capacitor wise, this I think will be left. These are good capacitors. They seem to last the pace fine, so that'll be left. Possible that this one here could be needing done as well. But these are all leaky. They're all leaky. So what we're going to do shortly, not in the next day or two, but I'm going to do this wiring. I'll be replacing this. This is needing to be done. It's in a bit of a sorry state up to the scan coils and the focus coil, so they'll be replaced. I might actually get a bit of carloom for it. I've done this before, get a nice long length, and you notice they're all black. There's no coding, which can make it a bit more difficult to do, but that's exactly what I'll be doing in it, and we'll go from there. So things are progressing quite well with it, to be fair. So what we'll be doing next, once we've done that what do you call it, all these cables and so on, we will be giving it a test, just a very short test. I'll gradually bring it up on the Variac, and we'll just see that how it performs. We'll bring up the HT slowly and see. But what I will be doing is the transformer for the EHT, I'll disconnect the primary to that off the mains, so we don't run the EHT up. We run all of it. We're running it. Want to run up with the HT, heater supplies, etc. See if we've got any sound. Check it on the scope to see if there's any vision and so on and so forth, and line and frame stages, and any anomalies. But hopefully we can sort that out at that stage rather than connecting it to the tube. So I could connect it to the tube incidentally, and run it. I've got a separate EHT power supply that I could use, and you never know, we might just go down that route and see how things are. So there we go, that's the progress now. Quite happy with what we've done so far. There's not a lot to be done really, and we'll certainly post up another video on this just shortly once we've done that, but it'll probably be next week, I would imagine. So thanks very much for watching tonight, and we'll catch up very soon with the next instalment. And if you don't subscribe, please subscribe and press the notification bell. So take care everyone, thank you very much for watching. All the very best for now. Bye bye.